Hello everyone, I am Rosemol Davis. Today I am going to take the topic statutory provisions related to issue of tax invoices. First point is a registered supplier of taxable goods shall before or at the time of a, a removal of goods for supply to the recipient where the supply involves movement of goods, b, delivery of goods or making goods available thereof to the recipient. In any other cases, issue of tax invoice showing the description, quantity and value of goods and the tax charged thereon and such other particulars as may be prescribed. ഇതിൽ പറയുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ ഗുഡ്സ് റെസിപ്പിന് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഡെലിവറി ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ആ ടാക്സ് ഇൻവോയ്സിൽ അതിൻ്റെ ഡിസ്ക്രിപ്ഷൻ, ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി ആൻഡ് വാല്യൂ ഓഫ് ഗുഡ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. സെക്കൻഡ് പോയിന്റ് ഈസ് എ രജിസ്റ്റേർഡ് പേഴ്സൺ supplying taxable services shall before or after the provision of service but within a prescribed period issue a tax invoice showing the description, value, tax charged thereon and such other particulars as may be prescribed. അതിലത്തെ ഫസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ്, any other document issued in relation to the supply shall be deemed to be a tax invoice or a tax invoice may not be issued. Third point, notwithstanding anything contained in the subsection 1 and 2. The first point, a registered person may within 1 month from the date of issuance of certificate of registration and in such manner as may be prescribed issue a revised invoice against the invoice already issued during the period beginning with the effective date of registration till the date of issuance of certificate of registration to him. Second point is, a registered person may not issue a tax invoice if the value of goods or service or both supplies is less than 200 subject to such condition in such manner may be prescribed. അതായത് ₹200 താഴെയാണെങ്കിൽ ടാക്സ് ഇൻവോയ്സ് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. സി, എ രജിസ്റ്റേർഡ് പേഴ്സൺ സപ്ലൈങ് എക്സംപ്റ്റഡ് ഗുഡ്സ് ഓർ സർവീസ് ഓർ ബോത്ത് പേയിങ് ടാക്സ് അണ്ടർ ദ പ്രൊവിഷൻ ഓഫ് Section 10 shall issue instead of tax invoice a bill of supply containing such particulars and in such manner as may be prescribed. Next is, a registered person shall on receipt of advance payment with respect to any supply of goods or service or both issue a receipt voucher or any other document containing such particulars as may be prescribed evidencing receipt of such payment. Next point is, where on receipt of advance payment with respect to any supply of goods or service or both the registered person issue a receipt voucher but subsequently no supply is made and no tax invoice is issued in pursuance thereof, the said registered person may issue to the person who had made the payment to refund voucher against such payment. Next point is, a registered person who is liable to pay tax under subsection 3 or subsection 4 of section 9 shall issue an invoice in respect of goods or services or both received by him from the supplier who is not registered on the date of recipient of goods or service or both. And last point is, a registered person who is liable to pay tax under subsection 3 or subsection 4 of section 9 shall issue a payment voucher at the time of making payment to the supplier. Fourth point is, in case of a continuous supply of goods where successive statement of accounts or successive payments are removed, the invoice shall be issued before or at the time of such statement is issued or the case may be or each payment is received. Fifth point is, subject to the provisions of clause D subsection 3 in case of continuous supply service. The first point, when the due date of payment is ascertained from the contract, the invoice shall be issued on before due date of payment. Second is, where the due date of payment is not ascertained from the contract, the invoice shall be issued before or at the time when the supplier or service issue the payment. Next point is, where the payment is linked to the completion of an event, the invoice shall be issued on or before the date of completion of the event. Sixth point is, in a case where the supply service ceases under a contract before the completion of supply, the invoice shall be issued at the time when the supply ceases and such invoice shall be issued to the extent of supply made before the cessation. Seventh point is, notwithstanding anything contained in the subsection where the goods being sent or taken on approval for sale or return are removed before the supply takes place, the invoice shall be issued before or at the time of supply or 6 months from the date of removal, whichever is earlier. Next topic is 2.5, unauthorized collection of tax. The first point, a person who is not a registered person shall not collect in respect of any supply of goods or service or both any amount by way of tax under this act. Second point is, no registered person shall collect tax except in accordance with the provisions of this act or these rules made thereunder. And next topic is indication of tax amount in invoice and other documents. Notwithstanding anything contained in the Act or any other law for the time being in force, where any supply is made for consideration, every person who is liable to pay tax for supply shall be prominently indicated in all documents relating to assessment, tax invoice, and other like documents the amount of tax which shall from part of the price at the supply is made. Next is 2.7, manner of issuing tax invoice. And first point, the invoice shall be prepared in triplicate in case of supply of goods in the following manner, namely, first is an original copy being marked as original for recipient, duplicate copies being duplicate for transporter, and the third is triplicate copies being marked as triplicate for supplier. Second is, the invoice shall be prepared in duplicate in case of supply services in the following manner, namely, the original copy of being marked as original of the recipient, duplicate copies marked as duplicate of supplier. Third point is, serial number of invoice issued by a supplier during the particular tax period shall be furnished electronically through the portal in the GST year 1. And fourth point is, the invoice shall be prepared by such a class or registered person as may be notified by the government on the recommendation by the council by including such particulars contained in from GST INV 1 after obtaining an invoice reference number by uploading information contained therein on a common goods and services tax electronic portal in such manner and subject to such condition as and the restriction as may be specified in the notification. And fifth point is, every invoice issued by a person to whom subrule for applies in manner and other than the manner specified in subrule shall not be treated as invoice. And the last point is, the provisions of subrule 1 and 2 shall not apply to an invoice prepared in the manner not specified in the subrule form. So this is the end of my topic. Thank you.